make a ton of treasures. Okay, well that's actually not too shabby. That's a lot of treasure for us. Questing Druid. The value train keeps coming, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. This is what you want the deck to do. Oh man, it's so beyond absurd. Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the latest in budget deck technology. And for today's deck, we're going to be jumping into the Explorer format to actually look at a deck that we've actually done this before in the historic format, but we haven't actually taken the time to look at a adventure deck here in Explorer/Pioneer. So with that, thanks to the Wilds of Eldraine, we have gotten a bunch of cool, new, awesome, multicolored adventure cards that I want to now throw together to see, is it possible to actually get a ton of value out of this deck utilizing only a small budget of 12 rares?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Well, you're about to find out. This is Adventure Time in 2023. Longtime viewers of the channel know how we got to do this. We have to talk about the stats of the deck first. We're looking at Temur colors of blue, red, and green. Our average mana curve is a little on the high side at 3.1, but we will have a way to make that work. We have 32 creatures in the deck, we have 4 artifacts, and 24 lands. Now, if you've been living under a rock for a while, you probably may have forgotten what the heck do adventure cards even do. So we're going to talk about, again, the basics of the deck. So starting off with our most essential 3 cards for this. From the original set of Eldraine, we have Edgewall Innkeeper. This simple human peasant is a 1/1 that says whenever you cast a creature spell that has an adventure, you draw a card. For Lucky Clover, this is going to be our other big piece that's going to help us get value. Lucky Clover is a 2-mana artifact that reads, whenever you cast an adventure, instant, or sorcery spell, you copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. And then finally, from the newest of Wilds of Eldraine, we have Baluna Grand Squall. This Temur giant noble that's legendary is a 4/4 and has trample. On the adventure side, it says, Seek Thrills for 5 mana, where it's an instant that mills for 7 cards, and you put all adventure cards among the milled cards into your hand. The regular side of the card is a trample creature that has permanent spells you cast have an adventure cost of 1 or less. So any one of these cards, whether it is Grand Squall, the Lucky Clover, or the Edgewall Innkeeper, are going to help us ensure that we can keep getting through our deck. Edgewall Innkeeper is our draw engine. Lucky Clover provides again the value. Baluna can help us just dig through our deck to get to our adventure cards. But what exactly are we going to be casting to do all that?
Good question.
Some of the newest cards we're going to be utilizing will be cards such as Scalding Viper, Questing Druid, Frolicking Familiar, Grabby Giant, Ferocious Werefox, Tempest Heart as our main new cards. But real quick, let's talk about some of the original cards. Some of these you may have remembered if you've been around for a while. We have Beanstalk Giant as our ramp spell, and also it comes down as a giant beater depending on how many lands we control. We also have Brazen Borrower, another time-tested classic where on one side the adventure allows you to bounce something back to an opponent's hand, and also can come down as a flash-flying 3/1 fairy. We have for the deck Rosethorn Acolyte. The simple side of this allows us to fix our mana, and also the other side becomes a mana dork. As far as the new cards, Scalding Viper is a little bit of a slower, weaker version of the Brazen Borrower, but its ability, of course, to then ping our opponent on the Elemental Snake side punishes our opponent for all the spells they may cast that are 3 mana value or less. Questing Druid will allow us to again dig through our entire deck as we keep exiling cards. It's played at instant speed, so ideally play the instant speed side at the end of your opponent's end step, so that way you can get the maximum amount of value out of your cards. And as long as you keep casting cards that are anything but green, it will get bigger and bigger. With Frolicking Familiar, since this is a budget deck, we can't afford the original giant from the set, so instead Frolicking Familiar kind of plays a little bit the same way too, where again you can ping your opponent for 1 mana instead of 2. Of course, if you're trying to make it also a much more effective creature, it also is a great flyer, so it has evasion with that ability to then basically pump itself up +1/+1 whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell. And then finally, as far as our new cards, Grabby Giant can give us a little bit more ramp with creates tokens in the form of treasures. It has reach as a 4/3 giant, so it's actually a pretty decent blocker in the mid to late game. We have Ferocious Werefox. It's also a 4/3 trampler, so it can force through damage, but its grand charge ability can put a monster roll token attached to a creature we control, allowing it to basically become a +1/+1 and also give it trample. Tempest Heart, think of this as more like another cheap version of the questing druid. It has the ability to dig through stuff on the instant side, but the trample side as an elemental elk provides us a little bit more value. We don't have that many spells in the deck that have a mana value of 5 or greater, but there are going to be a couple of them that can assist us with that. As far as the land base is concerned, this is where it's going to get a little funky for us, because again, we're not even going to bother sticking with any dual tap lands. We're going to go straight out for basics. So 5 islands, 6 mountains, 7 forests, and a single copy of Broker's Hideout, Cabaret Courtyard, Maestro's Theater, and rounding it out with 3 Evolving Wilds to make sure we can fix our mana, especially when we need it. You may be wondering, how does that even work? Well, believe it or not, it actually is doable with this, thanks to cards such as Beanstalk Giant, Rosethorn Acolyte, and Grabby Giant. These cards, again, as I mentioned, will allow us to ramp, fix our mana to the right colors, so that way we can cast everything on time. As far as the sideboard is concerned, you're going to have some cards that will assist us with some of the basic weaknesses of the deck. Even though the deck does have a ton of value as is, you're going to want to then stick some cards that might be able to be a little bit more of a problem for us. So you have copies of Haywire Might to exile certain non-creature artifacts or enchantments. Tamiyo Safekeeping can provide us a little extra protection for select cards when we need to keep them out on the battlefield. You have Soul Guide Lantern as your catch-all again for graveyard hate. Atrax's Fall is a little bit more of the in-between as catch-all for your artifacts, battle, enchantment, or creatures with flying that you want to deal with. Since we will have quite a few artifacts on the battlefield, we can take advantage of Disruption Protocol as a great counter spell and catch-all for us in that sense. And then your other catch-all removal is going to be Fanatic Firebolt. This allows us to do a little bit more damage, and it scales up as long as we have a lot of instant edge sorcery and or adventure cards into our graveyard. So this is going to be great for us to round out the package. But the only question is this hodgepodge of cards still capable of doing its thing? Can Lucky Clover and Edgewall Innkeeper with the newest cards from Wilds of Eldraine still make an impact in the Explorer format? So let's go ahead, let's take our deck into the format, let's play some games and see how well Adventures still does. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content so you don't miss out on any of the gameplay, booster pack openings, deck decks, and so much more. Alright, my fiery friends, here we go. We are playing our Adventure Time deck in Explorer, and, well, our mana base is actually kind of awkward right now because it's islands. On the other hand, we do have a Brazen Borrower and a Lucky Clover to bounce things away if we actually run into trouble, so I'm going to take a chance here. I know, someone out there is going to say, Infernoman, you should have mulligan, but I'm going to stick to this in hopes that maybe our deck will be lucky today, just like the Clover, and we can actually pull off some sweet things here, even what we got. Alright, we'll play an island. I'm just probably going to think we're maybe some kind of counterspell deck. Watch. At least until we get down that Lucky Clover. Okay, Snarl. They reveal. Okay, Kumamo. That's fine. Okay, we did get our mountain, which is awesome. So with that, we'll play the mountain, and we'll play Lucky Clover. Alright, so now the value train is firing up in just a moment, everybody. Okay, Plains. Bloodthirsty Adversary. Interesting. I haven't seen anybody really play this card, but that's cool. Alright, so with that, we'll get another island here. So I believe here, what do we do? Okay, we're going to wait for a second here. We're going to wait for this to flip. Let's see what our opponent's going to try to do here to see if they can stop us. Alright, with that. Bounce and bounce. This is exactly what you want the deck to do, everybody. Just start bouncing stuff away. Throw off your opponent's game plan and start burning them out. Okay. Kumamo again. Pings are a little annoying, but it's not the worst thing. So with that, let us take out that Lunarch Aspirant and ping them. Okay. Not too shabby, everybody. So with that, let's play Broker's Hideout. We're going to get a forest with us, so that way we can start really doing our thing. And then we'll play Frolicking Familiar. So if we start casting all of our adventure side spells, we can then start pulling off some really wacky shenanigans here. Do you have any removal for this Frolicking Familiar opponent? I guess we'll find out. Oh, spoke too soon. Well, that's okay. It's still early in the game. And they did not play anything else. Interesting. Okay, so Beanstalk Giant, playing adventure side. Now we can start doing our ramp. We'll get an island, play the mountain, and I think we'll just play it on the regular side. I think that should be enough for us to stop our opponent. Alright, etching a Kumamo. Now here. Brutal. Wow. That's okay, everybody. Annoying, but not the worst thing against us. So with that, Beanstalk Giants. Cabaret Courtyard. Sack it temporarily, and we will get ourselves another forest. So, well, we got a lot of cards now, and we definitely have a great blocker here. I don't know what their other two cards are, but we're going to find out, hopefully, that we can stop them. So with that, let us play Questing Druid. Alright. Okay, not too shabby there. We've got Forest. We can then play the Questing Druid again. We will play...
This is where the fun begins.
We're going to do it on this side, and the reason why is this is going to be a lot of cards dumped out, but we're going to be able to refuel ourselves here very quickly. So, mill 7. Got a bunch of cards in hand. Mill 7 again. I know, that is a risky move, but you now see a ton of value we can work with here. We go swinging. Oh, wow. Okay, well, we definitely have a clock on our opponent now, so this is actually sweet for us. We have to discard some cards, which is kind of annoying, but that's not bad. Opponent flips right here, which is going to be annoying, because they get rid of that Questing Druid. Or actually, they got rid of our Giant. That's okay, though. We still have ways of fighting through our opponent here. We just bounce away the Brutal Cathar. We should be actually fine here. Bloodthirsty Adversary. I'm guessing they're going to pay just to get that burn spell back. Not the worst. That's okay, everybody. Alright, so. Kumamo again. Our opponent is an interesting deck. It just seems like a Boros value pile with spell slinging, but that's okay. Alright, so we got Edgewall Innkeeper. So now our whole engine is online, everybody. So this is exactly what you want. So with that, Balloona. Draw a card. We will then, I think what we do for here now is Frolicking Familiar. Copy it. Take out the Cathar. Now we're going to be set here, everybody. Okay, so we got our cards back. We'll keep the old one. And Maestro's Theater. We're actually pulling it off here, everybody. Okay, again, this is definitely what you want the deck to do. So we've got a little bit now wiggle room here to survive. I don't know what our opponent's last two cards are, but we definitely can now, I think, get to victory here. Sunrise Cavalier. That's okay. It's a little beefy, but that's fine. They only have one card left in hand. Oh my goodness, they actually gave up right now. Oh, yes! This is exactly what you wanted, everybody. Woo! Oh, man. Adventures still has what it takes. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. We are playing our Adventure Time deck in Explorer, and ooh, oh my goodness. This is what you wanted to see, everybody. So we've got the Lucky Clover and the Edgewall Innkeeper, and we also got some Scalding Vipers to bounce hopefully away a couple things, but also can get some extra value. So I feel good about this one. Not to get too eager about it. I think we should be fine with what we have. Broker's Hideout can get us... Wait, actually, it can get us the island. At the very least, we need that island. So we have now all of our mana fixed. So the game plan right now is going to be Lucky Clover, and then we can start bouncing stuff if they try to start playing a bunch of things. They're green. Are they going to be Paradise Druid? Oh, I can't bounce that. That's kind of awkward. But that's okay. We still have time here, everybody. We've got a forest. And we'll play one Lucky Clover. Collected Company. Oh, wow. Okay, I guess they're really going off here, but that's okay. We still have ways of bouncing things. So I'm not worried. Ooh, it's elves. Okay. Well, we definitely have a way of getting around their little tempo plays here. So with that, we'll play an Edgewall Innkeeper. And here's where the fun begins. Okay, so with that, bounce, copy, bounce. Alright, so we can keep them off balance here as much as we can. That's all we have to do. If we can get down that Scalding Viper next turn, we can start pinging our opponent and punishing all of their spells. Canopy Tactician. They probably go swinging here. They do. No blocks. Alright. Okay, well, we have an island, which is awesome for us. We'll play the second Lucky Clover. And here's how we do this. We'll play the Scalding Viper next. Draw a card. Alright, got a mountain. That's not too shabby. Okay, so now we got to start bouncing all their stuff next turn, and can be Tactician again. Okay, well, opponent's getting greedy here, but they're gonna pay for it soon. Here comes the pings. Down to 19. They swing. At least I assume they swing. They do. No blocks. Down to 13. All right, another mountain. That's fine. So with that, Beanstalk Giant. Here come all the triggers, everybody. This is, again, what we want the deck to do. So with that, we will get a forest. We will get an island. And we will get a mountain. All right, so not too shabby there, everybody. All right, so with that, let's bounce some things again so we can stop our opponent from doing their thing. Okay, so bounce the War Master. Bounce the Tactician. Bounce the second Tactician. All right, field is clear, everybody. We draw a card again. All right, not too shabby there. All right. We're definitely making progress, and well, of course, we're forcing our opponent to just keep everything in their hands, so I feel so evil doing this, but this is, again, what you want the deck to do. Your opponent has to replay everything again, and they waste turns. Gonna go swinging here. No blocks yet. Can't do anything else. I guess, wow, they're strapped on mana there, so they kind of really screwed themselves over here if they can't play anything else. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We got another Lucky Clover. Okay. That is sweet, everybody. All right, so with that, let's play Grabby Giant now and make a ton of treasures. All right. Treasure, 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 everybody. This is so beautiful. We have plenty of what we need now to go off. Mountain again. Play another one. Make more treasures. Oh my goodness. This is so hilarious. All right. So with that, I think now's the time to play the Beanstalk Giant. We draw a card. Oh wow, another one. Alright, so with that, I think we'll just cast this. We are ramping like crazy here. Alright. Oh my goodness. There's just so much value. This is great. This is exactly what you want the deck to do again. Forest. We'll get one of each. Mountain. This is also exactly why I wanted just basics for the deck. Another forest, because this way, everybody, as you can see, you're just ramping so easily here. All right, we have a 13-13. Wow, that's massive. And we draw another card. Got a forest. All right, so with that, no attacks. Wow, we have a 13-13. I don't know how our opponent's going to stop that. They don't really have anything yet that can beat that. Oh, man, I'm loving this right now. All right, casting Tactician again, coming in. But now they can't really swing at us. They take some pings. 14. We honestly need another bounce spell here. If we can get another bounce spell, we can just shut them down completely. We do have a couple spells at least. We can play these giants and... Oh, okay, this is perfect. Okay. Questing Druid. The value train keeps coming, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. This is what you want the deck to do. Oh man. It's so beyond absurd.
Oh yeah. It's all coming together.
Okay, there's our Balloona. That's what we also wanted too. So with that also, we'll play Questing Druid. We need our Brazen Borrower. We get that, we then will be set here. All right, so with that, play the Forest. We will do this. Okay. Grabby Giant again. Makes Questing Druid go off. Value. Okay, so with that, we'll also kind of now, this actually is now a ritual, I realize. It's even better. Okay, we make blue. We make green. Make red. And we'll make another green. We can play Balloona. Come on, deck. Draw me into at least the Brazen Borrower. I get that, and we should be set. Okay, so with that, we can then play Rosethorn Acolyte. Draw a card. Frolicking Familiar again. Alright, so... how do we do this? Okay. More ramp here. Oh man, this is beyond insane. I can't believe this is going off exactly as intended. This is beautiful. You would think our opponent at this point would just kind of just give up, but they're hanging in there, so mad respect for that. So with that, Rosethorn Acolyte again. On deck, where is it? Okay. I guess we could keep going off here a little bit more. So with that, the value train keeps going, guys. Wow, we're down to 22 cards. Where is... okay, there it is. There it is, everybody. There's our Brazen Borrower. Okay, so now we're good. We're good. I think we got there. Oh my goodness. Our opponent just gave up right there. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Oh, man. This was, again, beautiful. That's exactly how you want the deck to go off, everybody. That was the dream. All right, my fighter friends, here we go. We are playing our Adventure Time deck here in Explorer, and okay, well, we definitely have the colors we need, and we definitely have a Lucky Clover, which is going to give us a ton of value. I think we can keep this and make it work. Let's go ahead and see how we can pull this off. All right, we'll start with a Cabaret Courtyard. This will get us our red mana. So with that, we will get a mountain. All right, and pass. Okay, so game plan right now. We can throw down the forest, get that Lucky Clover, and we can start ramping into everything we need. All right, we got our forest. Lucky Clover. Alpine Meadow. What is our opponent playing? Maybe they have a budget deck too, like us. All right, Plains. Core Blade. Okay, so it's going to be an equipment deck. Interesting. So with that, forest, we will adventure, ramp a little bit here. So we will get our blue source out. And we will get our red source out. And we will pass. Okay, so game plan right now. I think if we could pull this off. See, our opponent will do their swing. And from here, let's Questing Druid. We'll exile some cards. Double it up. Okay. Okay, hits there. Okay, there we go. We have our Edgewall Innkeeper, which is what we wanted. So with that, Innkeeper, we will play Grabby Giant, make some treasures, get a ramp on, Questing Druid, draw a card. Well, we're definitely doing what the deck wants to do. We definitely have a lot, and I do mean a lot of ramp here. So with that, we'll just wait. We really could use a little bit of removal. If we can get our bounce spells, we would be perfectly set here. Alright, so here comes the equip. They go swinging. No blocks. This is going to hurt for a little bit, but we will find a way around this. So with that, let us cast another Grabby Giant. Pump up our Questing Druid. Make some more treasures. And we get our turn here. Ooh, okay, we have another Lucky Clover. Well, not exactly what I want to see right now, because I really just want to see if we can get to our actual creatures here. Still, we can't ignore the fact that we can get a ton of value here. Oh, wow. We have another Lucky Clover? Oh my goodness. Actually, we'll swing with the Questing Druid. If they block with Blade Master, that's fine. Okay, so our opponent, I'm guessing they're going to try to want to squeeze it out here and finish us off, but we will see if we can at least somehow stabilize. Pigment Storm. Oh, wow. Ouch. That kind of hurts. But that's okay. We still have a way of surviving here. Fireblade Charger. Wait, do we block with both? I think we're going to have to block with both here. I usually don't want to do that, but we're going to have no choice here. We need to make sure we can take out that Fireblade Charger. Okay. We lose 4, which is unfortunate, but we have no choice there. Okay, Frolicking Familiar. That's not too shabby, actually. So here's how we do this. Lucky Clover. Mountain. Make a ton of treasures. Okay, well that's actually not too shabby. That's a lot of treasure for us. Okay, so with that, we can play a giant, and we will pass. Alright, well, the Lucky Clovers definitely at least keep us going. We have tons of mana now. We just need our payoff, and we can get to victory. Okay, do we let this resolve? I think we're going to have to let it resolve. Let's see, that gives it 3.0. Okay. I think we have a way of getting out of this, everybody. I think we can pull this off here. So with that, blow off some steam. Woo! Look at those triggers, everybody. 1. Put 1 on the Blade Master, taking it out. Alright, we did it, everybody. Nice. Oh, that was beautiful. Okay, our turn. Well, okay, board's clear now, everybody, so we can now start throwing down all of our creatures. Frolicking Familiar. Grabby Giant. And Grabby Giant for 3. Coast is clear, so now we start swinging here. Down to 14. Might be able to actually close this out next turn. Okay, opponent. I mean, you were a little scary for a moment with that hammer and that Blade Master, but... Oh, wow. They have to pay that for full price? Amazing. Well, that definitely helps us out a bit here. Okay. Ooh, okay. Okay. We'll just play it as is. I think we should just swing. We'll swing with just 2 creatures and see if they block. Do you block, opponent? They do. Okay. Well, that's actually not too bad for us. So here's how we do this. Create that monster roll token. We get a ton of pump here. All right. We're going to put monster tokens on every one of our creatures here. I can't believe this is working. This is actually working. That's actually pretty awesome. Okay. We lose a giant, but that's fine. We take out one of their creatures here, and we will cast the Werefox. All right, we're out of action, but we can also still sacrifice some of our lands here to draw some cards or treasures. Honestly, we actually don't even need that many Lucky Clovers at this point to get to our victory here. Okay, opponent.
Well, this stinks.
Oh, wow. They actually beat us. Really? I was actually beat by a Roiling Eruption? And there you have it, everybody. So that was Adventure Time in 2023. And you tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Would you play this deck all over again? I was actually really impressed and really happy with how the deck turned out. Yes, honestly, it was a little bit of a risk to just do nothing but basics just to keep the cost of the mana base down. But honestly, you saw in our matches there, it actually works. And it's a actually sweet payoff with a lot of our cards. So I actually would recommend that if you actually want to try this adventure deck, getting an insane amount of value for dirt cheap. So the one thing I'm going to have to caution you on is based on that last match, you're going to have to really kind of budget again how you want to look and evaluate your deck. You have basically double the spells in the deck, and that's actually what makes this deck so sweet, because you have all the instant sorceries built into your cards, but you really need to pay attention to when is the right time to either use the adventure side and when is the right time to play the creature side. So, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm actually satisfied with how the deck is. I honestly, on a budget, I really wouldn't change a thing about it. This is actually perfectly designed, and truth be told, I actually might build this in actual paper myself because I really like how the deck played. Now, having said that, if you are a person that wants to really go all out and spend a ton of mythics and rares on it, here's what I'm going to recommend for you to make this deck even sweeter. So we're going to take advantage of the fact that we have a lot more rares and mythics to work with. Specifically, we're bringing back in Bone Crusher Giant. We're going to be moving out some of our 1-drops and 1-ofs to get rid of those to make room for Fate of Wishes. Fate of Wishes is an extremely powerful card that's sorcery adventure ability allows us to pull out one of our non-creature cards you own from the sideboard back into our hand. So if we can copy this a couple times with Lucky Clover, we can get a ton of extra answers out to ensure that we have our victory in hand. With that, otherwise, you mostly are just going to keep everything else as the same. Keep your Beanstalk Giants, keep the Brazen Borrowers. We're going to go up to a full set of them, full set of Scalding Vipers, keep the Questing Druid for sure. We only need 2 copies of Balloona Grand Squall. We'll even keep the Frolicking Familiar. This card is actually very underrated from how our gameplay looked, so I definitely think we can keep those copies as well. Obviously, the biggest major upgrades, of course, is going to be the mana base itself, so we're going to then trim down to 2 islands, 2 mountains, and 4 forests. We'll add in Fable Passage now as our fetch land to dig those cards out. We'll have a single copy of the World Tree, which eventually, once we have enough lands out, can allow us to fix all of our mana to make sure we have the right colors. We'll add in some Triomes, the Breeding Pools, Botanical Sanctums, Stomping Grounds, some Copperline Gorge, Spire Bluff Canals. Basically, you get the idea. Just many of the expensive but solid dual lands that we need to make sure we have what we need on curve. So if you're otherwise going to play best of 1, for that top portion, you're going to want to keep in Tormod's Crypt for Graveyard Hate. Haywire Mike stays in there. Single copy of Tamiyo Safekeeping as well. You're now going to add in a copy of Shadow Spear to turn off permanents that your opponent control with Hexproof and Indestructible, but it also is great as an effective equipment to ensure that you can get +1/+1 and stabilize with some lifelink on a creature. Keep the single copy of Trox's Fall to catch all as for anything else, for example, battles, creatures with flying. Stasis Coffin is going to be more of your emergency panic button to make sure you do have protection from everything, at least for a turn. And a single copy of the Immortal Sun in case if we run into a lot of Planeswalker heavy style decks out there to turn them off and ensure that we can keep drawing cards and pump up our creatures. If you're going to take this into best of 3, it now expands into having Pithing Needle. Honestly, you could probably switch out Pithing Needle for Immortal Sun. This really is going to be more of a personal preference. You're going to keep, however, your entire set of Disrupting Protocols because that's the best counterspell we have since we are going to be running some artifacts, of course. You're going to now throw in an Atarka's Command. This allows us to have a lot more flexibility. Same thing, provides pump, can do a little bit of burn damage, throw an extra land out there if we need that in a pinch, or turn off our opponent's life gain. Our Wrath is going to be a single copy of Burn Down the House, but we can also flip this into making some Devil creature tokens if we just need some chump blockers. And finally, a single copy of Chandra, Awakened Inferno, can be used as a Wrath or also as another way to put pressure on a control deck as we keep adding on more +2s to ping out our opponent and get to our victory. My only other final thoughts I want to say is Adventure Time, whether you play it in Temur, whether you want to play it in Bant, maybe even 4 or 5 color, however you slice it, Adventures is a powerful mechanic, and by playing that Lucky Clover, by playing that Idgewall Innkeeper still in the early game, you can get so much value. It's insane that these cards still are playable even today in 2023. Obviously, Eldraine continues to be a very powerful set, and even with this new version, which may not be as extremely broken as the first version of Eldraine, Wilds of Eldraine definitely gave us a lot more tools to give us a lot more flexibility with the deck. And in my opinion, if you're a fan of playing the adventure decks, if you're a fan of just mid-range in general, if you're a fan of just maximum value and overwhelming your opponent with everything that you're trying to cast, give this deck a try. And I assure you, whether you want to play it on the budget version today, if you want to go all out with your deck, you will definitely get so much out of it, and you will surely not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later.